Yo, what's up? So we're going to be going over the self-improvement anime tier list, which pretty much means I'm going to be ranking some of my favorite anime based upon how much we can learn about self-improvement from that show specifically. So let's start this tier list off with
Far to the west, across the ocean, Vinland, Thorfinn, remember?
for those of you who haven't watched Vinland Saga is pretty much a story about a guy who watches. Actually, I don't want to spoil it too much. So, spoiler warning, real quick. But it's a story about a guy who watches his father die in front of him and then go down the path of vengeance. And it's through this path of vengeance that he eventually leads to the answer that vengeance and fighting isn't the way. That true strength, which is kind of the whole point of the story, what is true strength, is not through fighting but through peace, not having to fight, not needing a sword to be strong. And just for that, I'm putting it at S tier, right? And there's more about this as well, though. Vinland Saga is such a good example of what self improvement looks like as a journey. Like, I know we're not all Vikings, we're not all killing people. I hope not, at least. So it's not 100% accurate, but it shows how when we're trying to improve ourselves, it's very difficult. There's a lot of challenges. It's not a nice experience. And also, it teaches things like what strength is, and it kind of promotes the idea that strength isn't just physical, but it's more of a mental and spiritual thing. It's also against superficial goals. Like, Thorfinn had the goal of just killing his father's murderer, but we see why that's not a good goal. So it might not directly say, oh yeah, you can't have superficial goals, but you see throughout the story how superficial goals do not lead anywhere. And something else that got Vinland Saga really popular is the phrase "I have no enemies." Right? It teaches forgiveness. It teaches not wanting to fight and being peaceful. So because of all of that, I'm going to put Vinland Saga, like I said, in the S tier. Now the next anime I want to talk about is
And I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
One Piece, One Piece, One Piece. This is one of my favorite, if not my favorite anime. And when I look through a self-improvement lens, I can see so many lessons that can be learned from this show. I'm gonna zoom myself in real quick. All right, cool. So there's so many things that can be learned from this show. And just like the premise itself, Luffy is a guy who has this great dream to be the king of the pirates, one that is deemed to be impossible to achieve by everyone else around him. And not only that, but he also finds a crew of people who have also these great aspirations, these things that almost nobody else thinks can be achieved, and they all work together to achieve them together. Like Luffy, he wants to be king of the pirates. Nami wants to navigate the entire world or like make a map for it. Sanji wants to find the all blue. Usopp, he has a cool dream, but it's not like, the coolest one. He's just like, I want to be a warrior, whatever. Zoro wants to be the strongest swordsman. I don't know what Frankie wants to do, I'll be honest with you. But the point is, all of these crew members have these great dreams, and it's like such a cool idea to have you and all your friends together working hard to chase your aspirations, ones that are deemed to be impossible. And something else that's very strongly pointed out in this show is the friendship and the loyalty among the characters. These characters, like for Zoro, for instance, when you take the pain for Luffy, these show how strong our friendships can be, right? And they set a high standard for what we should try to strive for. And also, it's back to the dreams thing. These characters have balls, right? Luffy is telling all the major players in this like world, I am going to be the king of the pirates. I am going to reach my goal before you reach yours, pretty much. He's very confident. He's like 100% sure he's going to do this, and he speaks like that. And not just him, but his entire crew. I think that itself is also a lesson right there where it's like, that is something that we kind of, it's so important to have that confidence that you are going to succeed. Because if you think, like, let's say you start a business and you're like, well, I really don't know what's going to happen. Well, you're going to be sorry, right? You're not going to succeed as much as if you said, I am going to succeed, and then you're going to put all of your time into succeeding. Having that confidence and having that mindset of success is so important in self-improvement. Luffy and One Piece in general gives us a standard that we should chase our dreams, be confident in doing so, find other people who are doing the same, and have a strong and deep bond with those people and be loyal to those people and to do the right thing no matter the consequences. Like when Luffy trying to save Robin in Water 7, it might have been Enies Lobby, and he fights the world government. He sets their flag on fire. That was hard. That was clean, right? He's doing the right thing despite what the after effects are. He's going to war with the world for doing the right thing. This story is like incredible. I love the story. It sucks because I started watching it in like middle school, so I don't remember the beginning of it kind of. So I am going to rewatch One Piece eventually, and I am going to be making a video on One Piece. It's probably like an hour long or something like that. So, and also just in general, for all the animes on this tier list, I am going to be making videos about them if I haven't already. Like Vinland Saga, if you just go to my channel and click the most popular, it'll be the first video you'll see. So if you're interested in that, it's there. And just for all of these, I'm going to be making videos on them because I really do like these anime, and I think anime has a lot of good lessons we can learn from that we don't really highlight. So with all of that I just said, I'm going to be ranking One Piece right next to Vinland Saga in the S tier. So we got Vinland Saga and we have One Piece, both in the S tier. The third show, or the third anime I want to talk about is... I just made a video on Invincible, and I know it's not an anime, but it's animated, so I wanted to include it because I've been watching it recently. And the major thing that sticks out to me in terms of self-improvement is Invincible is dealt a crappy hand. He's born, normal life, then all of a sudden he gets these superpowers that pushes him into this galactic war. But he steps up to the challenge, and that's what we should do as well. We're not going to be in a galactic war, but we're all going to have these challenges in our lives that force us to step up and do better. They're going to be daunting, and we're going to make a lot of mistakes, but if we continue to go through our failures, we will get through these daunting tasks. And that's really the only thing I get from Invincible. I mean, maybe I'm missing some stuff, so yeah, for that reason, there's not as much as One Piece or Vinland Saga, so I'm going to put him in the B tier. Still a very good show. I'm not saying it's a bad show, but in terms of self-improvement lessons, I feel like that's the only one I could find upon watching it. If you want to watch the Invincible video I just made, it's in the description. But let's move on to the next anime, which is... Naruto is a lot like Luffy. Luffy wants to be king of the pirates. Naruto wants to be the Hokage. These are both very big, very ambitious goals that in both verses, nobody thinks that they can achieve. Naruto is exiled, or not exiled, but he's shunned by everybody because if you've watched Naruto, it's like 20 years old. You should watch it. He has a demon inside of him, so everybody doesn't like him. So he's pretty much like socially exiled from the village. And despite all of these things, how nobody likes him, how he's publicly shunned, however, nobody talks to him ever. He's just on the swing by himself. He still fights as hard as he can, and he does as much as he can so that he can become the Hokage. He doesn't let everyone's doubts stop him. And people even like publicly do this. They were like, "You're not going to be Hokage," or "You're too weak," or like they like publicly diss him, and he does not care. Naruto just teaches a very good lesson of how we should respond when people say they don't believe in us, when they don't see the future that we see. So for those reasons, Naruto is going to be going into the A tier. Now, the next anime I want to talk about is...
Shake your head! It can't be. I move fast and shift my weight, and from the force of swaying back and forth, I throw punches from both sides!
When I think of Hajime no Ippo, I think of a story about goals and hard work. Ippo's story teaches a lot about how important having a direction in life is because in the beginning, like, I don't know if it was just me, but Ippo seemed to be a little despaired until he found something that felt like his purpose. In order to be successful in life, I think you have to have a purpose and a drive to fulfill that purpose. Something else the story teaches about is healthy competition, how when you compete against somebody else around your skill level, like a friendly, healthy competition. I'm not saying like you guys want to kill each other. Like you guys could be chill, but like friendly competition or healthy competition makes both people work harder than they would without it. By the way, I also made a video on this one. So I'm going to put all of these probably in the description, all the videos I mentioned. So check that out if you want to. Hajime no Ippo also shows us how much hard work it is to reach your goal. It shows Ippo and everyone else at the gym how hard they train, how much they train, how much commitment they have, how much discipline they have to keep going. And from what I remember at least, Ippo has been knocked down a couple times, right? And we see him struggle to get up, but he does every single time. I think this can be a metaphor for failure, right? He fails, he falls down, whatever, but he continues to get up every single time, right? And you can see a lot of these animes have very similar messaging. So it might sound like I'm repeating myself because I probably am, but I'm just giving you my reason for what I'm going to rank these shows. I talked a lot more about Ippo. I don't want to keep going for too long, so check out the video in the description. But for this story, Hajime no Ippo, I'm putting it in the A tier.
You got me again, Fate, you big jerk!
When I think of Black Clover in terms of self-improvement, the main thing that points out to me is the never giving up aspect. And they spam this a lot. It kind of gets annoying sometimes where it's like, they say, never give up, never give up. And it's like, yeah, it's a good message, but like, why are you saying it 40 times? But we see this in Asta mainly because he doesn't have great natural talent. He's got the 5-Leaf Clover book now, but even before that, he was still training as hard as he could. Even with everyone doubting him, he continues to push towards his goal of becoming the Wizard King. And like I was saying before, you can see all of these animes have very big goal. Protagonist shunned, or he doesn't have great natural talent, and you can see them achieving these goals, right? It's not cookie cutter because they do it in different ways, but a lot of these shows do have very similar messaging. I think a lot of anime can be inspiring if you think about it in that way, right? Like if you're watching One Piece and you're not thinking, oh, these guys are chasing their dreams, they're fighting the world government, they're doing all these right things. You're just gonna think you're being entertained, right? But you can actually learn something from these stories. So even for anime that I have not going to be covered in this video, try and look back and like see if you can learn something from them. Because I'm sure even if the author didn't intend it, there's a message in the story that you can learn from. So because Black Clover has a good advice, never give up, right? That's good. But they just kind of spam that, and that's the only thing I really see from the show, at least in my thoughts, or at least my memory. For that reason, I'm going to be putting it in the B tier.
You think you're so clever! One for all, full cowling, 45% impact.
The next anime I want to talk about is My Hero Academia. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be focusing on the end seasons of it because I don't remember the beginning ones because I started watching it when it first came out. So from what I can get from the latter seasons, the main theme is kind of like One Piece with friendship. It's not the exact same thing. It's not about loyalty, but it's about how friends can keep you grounded, right? He's becoming the strongest person in the world, right? He has all these quirks, right? And he's putting all this pressure on just himself. He's putting the weight of the world on his shoulders. And his friends help him realize that they can help, that he doesn't have to do it alone. I wish I could talk more about the show because I do really like My Hero Academia. It's just I don't remember that much about it. So for that reason, I know you might get mad at this, but I am going to be putting it in the B tier. I just wanted to mention it because I do like the show and I think it does have a good, friends can keep you grounded, stuff like that. It has a good message. But yeah, my bad. I don't remember the show completely. But that is my self-improvement anime tier list. I know I could have a lot more on here, and I might make a part 2 to this where I just continue it. But that's all I got for today. If you, like I said it a couple times now, I have a playlist on my channel with a bunch of anime videos on it, self-improvement, storytelling videos, where I explain the story of the anime and then also the lessons of the anime. So if you're interested in that, again, playlist in my channel. But if you'd like the line to be saved, I have a video. Hold up. It's going to be up there. And if you want to click on that playlist, that's another thing. It's right here. Thanks for watching, and praise God.